Brotherwise Games recently released a video that previews the Stormlight World Guide book that's set to release in September of this year. This book is from Brandon Sanderson's record-breaking Cosmere RPG Kickstarter campaign, and it's filled with all kind of new artwork and lore about Roshar, the world that the Stormlight Archive takes place on. In this video, we'll dissect the preview and talk about everything that was revealed. The first thing we see is the cover. And this cover looks very nice. In the center, we have some artwork depicting Dalinar, Szeth, Yasna, Nightblood, Ivory, and Nergaul in the King's Drop that Dalinar's holding. Bordering this artwork, we can see some intricate pattern designs. All this gold on the front is all foiled, so it's gonna look really nice in person. Then the book's lifted up, and we can see that the page edges are gilded gold. Now, this wasn't originally the plan, but the campaign did so well that stretch goals were unlocked, and this was one of them. When the cover's cracked open, we see the full version of that artwork, and we can see that it's depicting the Battle of Thaylen Field from Oathbringer. To the left, we can see one of the dire formed fused, and in the background, we see a thunderclast. We can also kind of make out the Highstorm on the left and the Everstorm on the right clashing. Next, we see the table of contents, and we see for the first time what different subjects will be covered within this world guide. So there's 8 different chapters, and it looks like 270 pages altogether. So we get an introduction, which includes a letter, which we'll actually see later in this video. And then chapter 1 covers the world. It goes over the ecology of Roshar, all the flora, the fauna, the sprin. It looks like it covers surge binding as well, and science and technology, so probably fabrials. Chapter 2 covers nations and cultures. Chapter 2 is going to be very interesting because a lot of these cultures we don't really know a whole lot about. Like the Horneder Peaks, we've pretty much only heard what Rock has told us about the peaks. That's going to be cool. And I'm very excited to read about the Reshi Isles. I hope we get some artwork depicting the Taina, the giant creatures that act as living islands in the Reshi Sea. Right now, there's not very much artwork depicting them online. Chapter 3 covers cosmology and religion. It looks like we get a page dedicated to Adonalsium. Chapter 4 covers history of Roshar. It looks like it goes pretty in-depth, starting with prehistory and going all the way through to the True Desolation, which is where the main story takes place. Chapter 5 covers allies and organizations. We get a whole page dedicated to the diagram. That should be pretty interesting. And we get 3 pages dedicated to the Ghost Bloods. I'm excited for that. Oh, and the World Singers. We barely know anything about them other than that Sigzil was training as an apprentice under Hoyd to be a World Singer. Chapter 6 is titled Points of Interest. And the part that I'm most excited about in this chapter is the 4 pages dedicated to Rall, Elorim, the City of Shadows. We barely know anything about this city. This is the city that Lift is originally from. And in Kaladin's vision in The Way of Kings, when he's flying over Roshar, he sees a city where people are living in giant hollowed out stalactites. I'm pretty sure that's Rall Elorim because we have one piece of canon artwork depicting it, and you can see the stalactites in there. That will be fun to read about. Chapter 7 covers Shadesmar, a whole chapter on just Shadesmar. Interesting. Maybe we'll finally get to learn about some of the cities that are set up by the Sprin in Shadesmar. Chapter 8 covers adversaries and bestiary. The first couple that I'm seeing on the list don't look too interesting, like a whole page dedicated to Bandit. I don't know about that. We get 2 pages dedicated to Khazaphanes. That will be pretty cool. We get 2 more pages dedicated to the Ghost Bloods. We get 2 whole pages dedicated to Midnight Essence. That part will be interesting. Oh, and before that, 2 pages dedicated to the Larkin, which is what Cheery Cheery is. We'll get to learn a little bit about the Unirig, which is a mysterious creature that we've heard about in the books but haven't actually seen. Unfortunately, I don't see Taina listed here. I was really hoping to learn more about those living islands. On the next page, we get a piece of artwork by Anthony Avon. It's depicting Kholinar being besieged by the Fused, and we see the Everstorm over it. That's a lot of lightning. And then we get to the introduction, which includes a letter written by Khrissalla, Professor of Arcanist Studies. This letter reads, "Scholars of the Cosmere, Roshar is a domineering, majestic tempest of a planet, uniquely shaped by 3 shards. It exhibits characteristics of odium, honor, and cultivation. The inherent conflict between the 3 shards' powers has led to a cycle of destruction and war, but it has also strengthened the people and beasts who manage to survive in this inhospitable world. Roshar's indigenous people, the singers, hum to the world's rhythms, and they change their forms to embody new roles as they face and pose perilous threats. Humans who came to Roshar long ago abuse and subjugate one another and the singers, guided by avarice and an unseen hand of hatred. All the while, heavily invested Highstorms sweep across its singular continent, renewing the land while destroying those who do not heed them. The parched terrain awakens after each storm as vines unfurl and great shells emerge. If you visit, pack a coat. Though ineffectual against the murderous high storms, you'll need it for your hike down from the Horneater peaks. Be especially prudent during your time here, for the true desolation grows more dire by the day. If odium is permitted to consume the world, his hunger will not be sated. He will continue his ravenous conquest across the Cosmere until there is nothing left. The only way to stop such barbarous enmity is with unity, something in short supply among the locals who have turned on each other as the global war against odium's forces intensifies. The fate of the Cosmere itself hangs in the balance. Refer to my research within these pages to guide your way. There are heroes here, the Knights Radiant. Though they have failed many times before, their failures hold the answer to deliverance, if they are humble and valiant enough to see the storm through. Khrissalla, Professor of Arcanist Studies. Alright, that's very interesting. So this entire guide must be written by Khrissalla. The next 2 pages cover some realmatic subjects, such as investiture, shards and splinters, and the 3 realms. And we see a really nice looking piece of art that depicts all 3 realms. On the left, we see the physical realm, and it looks like it's depicting the shattered plains. In the center, we see Shadesmar, or the cognitive realm, with the sea of beads and the distant sun in the background. And on the right, we see a depiction of the spiritual realm. The next page shows a depiction of Kaladin flying over the shattered plains, looking at the high storm in the distance. We can see some windspren flying around him, and we also see the tower in the background. I didn't picture it as being that steep when I read The Way of Kings. That's interesting to see. We also get to see the first couple pages out of chapter 1. So we can see this is covering the world of Roshar. So it's going over the ecosystems, how Roshar measures time, and how it differs from other places in the Cosmere. We get a whole section on the currency. We get a nice table showing the value of each type of sphere. And I really like these depictions of the spheres down here. So on the left, you can see just how tiny the chips are within the sphere. The marks are about 4 times the size, I'd say. And then the brome is just a massive piece of a gemstone within the sphere. We also get a nice depiction of a female Windrunner, by the look of it, breathing in some stormlight from some infused gems in her hand. We see a really nice piece of artwork depicting the Everstorm, and another piece of artwork depicting the High Storm. And the final 2 pages that were revealed show the flora of Roshar. So this is actually a page of Shallan's sketchbook that we've seen before in Words of Radiance, but now it's colorized. It really brings it to life. This book will include all kind of pages like this that are brought to life with added color. And finally, we get to see the back of the book. That's everything that was revealed in the preview video. We're gonna get a lot more information in this book than I realized, and I can't wait to get my hands on a copy. Let me know your thoughts on this Stormlight World Guide down in the comments. Are you excited for it? I'll put a link to the original video in the video description, so be sure to go check that out. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, and there's plenty more Cosmere content on the way, so hit that subscribe button so you know when the next video drops. If you'd like to support the channel and get access to bonus perks, check out the Patreon and YouTube members links down in the description. That's it for this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.